the music, they love the swag, they love the life, and they kill our ass. They love the drip, they love the lingo, they love the hate, and they gun us down. We love to live, we love to give, we fight for this, and they still get mad. We started late, cost twice the stakes, all the fears we face, and we still get bagged. They love the music, they love the swag, they love the life, and they kill our ass. They love the drip, they love the lingo, they love the hate, and they gun us down. We love to live, we love to give, we fight for this.
All right. I'm going to welcome you back to another episode of The Den Show on the Dinner Club podcast. Got my co-host in the building. I don't even like to call people co-hosts. I think that's just whack. Just my other host in the building, Thorn, and my homegirl Nina Law is in the building. And today, you know, I wanted to bring my brother Tyson in the building. Like I said, he'll be popping in and out on different things. So I'm bringing my brother Tyson into the building. What's going on, brother, man? Tyson's in the building.
What's up, Tyson?
Can you hear us, brother? I'm not sure if you can hear us right now. But yeah, so there's been a lot going on. I think his connection's a little off. Let me hit him with a chat. But there's been a lot of stuff going on. We just kind of want to recap the week, man. Like, I want to know what everybody's been doing. I do not want to go first in that conversation because I'll be talking forever. I first want to start with Nina because I know you live in Brockton, and I heard it was pretty wild in Brockton. So, like, what's your take on what was going down in Brockton? And you can also let me know like what's true and not true. So I know that there was a Dunkin's on fire. I heard the high school was on fire. Is that true?
I didn't hear that.
Oh, okay, cool.
I hope not. Actually, what's crazy is I kind of like that crossed my mind a couple of days ago. I don't know why, so I hope that's not true. But I don't live in Brockton, bro. You know that?
Yes, I do. But I know you know everybody
I'm
out
from
there.
Brockton,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I know everybody. But honestly, I heard about the Dunkin' Donuts. It is true about the Dunkin' Donuts. I honestly work from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. So I kind of have not been, up front or front and center and watching everything that's going on and how it's playing. If I can be honest with you guys, I heard that they had at least 3. What am I trying to say here? Here I am with the blanks again. They did like 3 protests. The first one, I guess it ended a little rowdy, but then they fixed it. The second 2, this is as far as I know. It could have been more. The second 2 and were peacefully, which I'm very proud of. I am proud of them because they are, they're protesting and some of them are protesting with the cause and with the right cause, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And there's other knuckleheads out there as well. So, but I mean, is there anything else? Like, I'm proud of them of what they're doing, but I just, like we had just stated earlier, there are some knuckleheads that are just, going about it the wrong way in their reasoning and what they're attacking is wrong. So I guess that's happening everywhere, though.
Yeah, for sure. So, Thorn, I know you've been, out and about. You still had to work and everything, right, during this time?
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, as usual, I've been back at work since the original stay-at-home advisory. I was back 2 weeks after that. So I got the first 2 weeks off, but I've been back. But as far as with the protest, that hasn't really been too bothersome with what I've been doing. But I mean, that I've been staying super aware on the situation. I've been paying attention to everything that's been going on in all of the surrounding cities. Providence was acting up. Brockton had their episodes. It seems like, New Bedford's really kind of setting a standard. So I'm really proud of New Bedford. But that's the thing, though, is it might be like a perception of leadership, maybe, or like, I know you're doing your thing out there. I seen you recommend Black Sea for Brockton. Seen you
Correct.
Recommend them. So people need to be reaching out. If we're trying to make an impression with these protests, we need to be having the right individuals leading it. And you could see that New Bedford's doing that right now.
Yeah.
The message needs to be hit hard, and it can't be having any little subcategories that's going to be allowing anybody to apply anything negative to it. But
I agree.
Outside of that, I think overall, the message is getting through.
Yeah, nah, for sure. Shout out my man Mark. I see you, bro. We love you too. Shout out Renee. Yeah, we've been trying, man. So when you see things stay peaceful, um, it takes a lot of work to keep it that way because you got to manage different levels of emotions. And I'm especially proud of New Bedford because when the George Floyd thing happened at the same time, we had some new information come out about Malcolm Gracia from out here, who was killed in 2012 by the police. And there's still some gray area in a lot of people's opinions on both sides of the ball of exactly what had happened. And Tyson's great at always saying like two things can be true at the same time. And I really honestly believe that after doing some homework, it's kind of feeling like one of those scenarios where two things can be true at the same time. Like, yes, this kid was his murder could have been avoided. But some of the evidence, and again, it's tough because you don't know what to believe when it comes to the DAs and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? So like, I went into this once again, an idealist. I'm coming out a realist. So I can help as many people as I possibly can. But at the end of the day, people are going to act out in the way that they want to. I just want to be able to discern the peaceful protesters that are trying to fight for legislation and changes throughout the union and changes in local government that are actually going to have long lasting effects. And I want to discern those people from the ones that are actually acting out. Now, I can't necessarily say, and I know this is going to shock some people who've been seeing me out here talking about peace, because I want to be a part of helping with that charge. But I do understand the frustration from the youth and people who have been getting screwed over by cops forever. And the patience is worn thin. You can't. You almost can't understand some, and so now there's a difference between the violence too. Some of the violence is just people who are that are being crimes of opportunity. You know what I mean? Those always exist. Mm-hmm. And then some of those people that are lashing out literally are just pissed off at the authority. There's a difference. Some of the looters, a lot of the looters are just looting. They're just out there for their come up. But some of these people that are spray painting the windows and doing all of that crazy shit are actually letting off a lot of steam that they feel about authority. And I think that, and this is just me being very honest, I'm for the peace side, but I do understand how both dualities help apply just the right amount of pressure to get what we need done this time. Because one thing that we do know, even though I want to talk peace and be about peace, is never have we been able to just ask and receive.
Right.
Whether or not it came at someone as peaceful as MLK out here, he had to die. Whether or not it was Malcolm talking about by any means necessary, he had to die. Medgar Evers trying to change things in the NAACP, he had to die. So it's never come from just asking alone. Here's the way I look at it. So like I said, you need the peace side to be focused on the rule of law, the legislation, the change of local government, etc. But you almost kind of need that element of chaos to apply a tangible, because if you're not going to work with those people who are being protest, now that they're identifying the people who are being peaceful, if you're not going to work with them to actually get real progress, then those people will convert to the mob. Mm-hmm. And when that happens, you're going to have an all-out war. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just going to be here. I want people to understand that this is not just an American phenomena. This is happening globally right now, all over the world. Tyson's in the building, man. He's been out there on the ground with me, going through a lot of this shit. I mean, without getting too nitty gritty or giving details of where we were, but like, the other night when the sun comes down, shit changes. Yep. That's when the vampires come out, for a lack of a better term. And they're not fucking around. They want blood. And even with the protesters, people don't understand when you've been out in the sun all day and, you haven't really eaten and you're drinking just water, but you might not even have the water. You're young. You don't understand how your body works and how, by the time the nighttime hits, now you're hangry, angry, and you cannot perceive situations correctly. So 2 nights ago, what I've been doing now is following the march when they walk in the car to just pay attention to police and how they're dealing with each other. I've actually had great communication, and a lot of officers have been coming to me to talk to certain kids. Some kids don't like that. I don't really give a shit, bro. Like, I'm in a different space where I'm just trying to help you stay alive. Now, if you want to go be reckless, do so. But I'm just trying to do my part. You can critique me all you want. That's cool. But the other night, you know, we were over in a neighborhood. I won't say which neighborhood because I don't like to paint them in a particular way. But you know, it hit about 9:30-ish, and they were marching through a neighborhood, and a young white woman was driving by in her car. Now, she didn't understand what was going on, and she panicked. So she kind of tried to drive by the crowd, not through, but by. And it's interesting because another young white woman who was with the protest took it the wrong way, and she got amped. Two of them, and they got amped, and they started chasing the car into the parking lot.
Wow.
And now when you know how it is when you see one black person run by, you're like, where you going, nigga? I'm going with you. We're running by, you know, we're running out of there too, or anybody. So that's what happened. Everybody started running over to the car and they all surrounded the car. Now check this out, because this is why I need people to be very careful. This is a very important teachable moment right now, right? So they're all banging on this white girl's car. I run over. Tyson comes out of the crowd. We're pushing people back. Her man comes outside. Her man is a melanated brother. You have to understand what world we live in. Her man came outside. He's a melanated brother. And not only did he come outside, he came outside with that thing on.
Oh, yeah.
So now we're standing in between these kids who are hyped up off the energy and wanted to take it out on a white girl who is actually with a melanated brother. And now he's out here and we out here fighting for black lives ain't gonna matter in a minute. If this is the kind of idiocy that
was family over everything.
Exactly. It's family over everything. And he was about to blow some tops off out there. Now, here's the good side. So right after all of that happened, you know what I'm saying? We let him vent. Obviously, he has every right to vent, so we let him vent. And then, you know, we talked him down and he went inside the house. And then people were walking back behind his house to go cut back out to the main lot. But we caught up with them and gathered them all together, made them take a knee and just made them apologize to them. You know, like 1, 2, 3.
Dope.
Everybody said, I'm sorry. A bunch of times while they were standing at their back door. Multiple times. Because that's not the way to get this shit done. We can't be fucking. This is what I'm talking about. People want to be crazy. How can you be crazy in your own communities? That's just not helping the cause. Fucking up your own communities, not helping the cause. And I got out of the streets to not be standing in between guns and dumb shit. I will definitely put my life on the line for the cause, but I'm not going to put my life on the line for the cause for a dumb person. It's not happening. I got plenty of reasons, and I need people to understand this. I have plenty of reasons why I could sit it out. I've gained a lot in my life that I never had. A nice home, beautiful wife, new child, new situation, getting my shit right with my sons, stop being a womanizer, stop being a homophobic. I'm working in the community. I could just be doing what I'm doing from the regular platforms. But I'm from the streets. So that's why I'm in these streets. I might not be from the streets of New Bedford, but I'm from the streets. So that's why I'm out there and I'm on the ground. But I don't think people even realize seriously what I be sacrificing while I'm out there. And people like Tyson are sacrificing while we're out there. We have plenty. We could be those people that people talk about. You get out the hood, you get a house, and then you stay inside your tower and just be like, fuck it, we'll watch it on TV. That's not going to do them kids no good. So, you know, there were some dangerous close calls. That was just one of a couple, but we've worked through them and we've been able to keep it from blowing over. And it's been close a few times.
And so here's something that I want to touch on to kind of catch up with that is I explained to them a couple different things. One, when I instantly ran up and made them move from behind the car, I'm like, is it smart to stand behind a car you think tried to run you over? Like, you're just making yourself an easy target if they try to back up. So moving everyone to the side is one thing. And then the other side of that is I want people to realize that though I'm again, not targeting white people, but I want people to realize that that situation escalated because of two white women overreacting and panicking in a situation. And black people almost paid the price. So while we're out there, she panicked because she came into a situation that was by her house that she didn't know what she was pulling into. And so instead of stopping, looking and assessing and saying, well, what's the best way to go around this or whatever, she instantly tried to take moves. You swerve this way, you might hit someone. You swerve that way, you might hit someone.
Well, not for nothing as well, but like, unfortunately, what time was it at nighttime?
At night.
All right,
and we're wearing black.
But also, what's the association with the protest right now after hours?
Oh,
unfortunately,
it's a grimy game after hours.
Right. So people are gonna be iffy. People are gonna be aware and trying to be elude. Exactly. You know.
So now you have that situation. So she, you know, again, nothing wrong with what she did. She came into a situation, but in the future, when people come into something and you're driving and you don't know what you're coming into, pause, like stop. You have brakes. Stop, assess the situation, and see which direction you're gonna go. Are you better just staying where you're at? Are you going forward? Are you just like, I'm gonna back out and give this a minute? Now, so her overreaction and panic then caused more panic when people thought they were being targeted because they were protesting. And then you have the white females on this side now amped up, banging on the car because they think it's something it's not. So again, you have to, when you're out there being an ally on either side, we need you to understand that we need your calmness. We need your support. We don't need your aggression for us, though. We can handle that. Your job, your job is to be like, I see your aggression, realize what this can turn into. I'm with the shits if you're going that way, but I'm trying to de-escalate and trying to keep you calm so you don't get hurt out here fighting for your cause. That's what we need. Or when the police are in front of us and at us, we need you to be there and say, whoa, officer, they're just blowing off steam. Like, let them blow it off. We don't need you to attack for us. We don't need you to throw bottles for us. We don't need you to have bats and batons ready for us. We need you to try to keep the situation calm and safe for us so we can make it home, because that's what this is all about. Mm-hmm. We're fighting to make it home out of these situations. So we don't want to get caught and messed up in them while we're fighting for it. That just doesn't make sense.
So, and I want to play devil's advocate to that real quick, right? Mm-hmm. Because, and I totally agree with that. The sound me agrees with that. But then I had an epiphany today. Holy shit. Have you ever seen a time where so many white people do not understand this movement is extremely different from any other time? Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen a time where so many white young children are ready to get it cracking for Black lives?
The question
don't say are they, motherfucker. Because we was in Boston. They are ready to get it cracking.
But listen,
they're the ones that get it cracking. Yeah, they'll run too. Niggas do the same shit. We get it cracking and we take off. But at least they're willing.
Get it cracking and take off.
but at least they're willing to. But at least in some degree, it's that serious to them. They take it that passionately that they want to. You know what? Like we talked about this before. We have allies, right? And if you don't give allies a directive on how they can help, then they think we're talking about. And I'm being very candid. We're talking about white folks who know how to go to war. Like, this is what they do. So you ask them for help. They're like, all right, cool, motherfucker, Paul Revere ride. Let's get this shit going. Boston Tea Party Part 2, bitches. Let's do it.
Now, what I think is going on is we are at an all-time peak with empathy. There's so many individuals that are being empathetic of the situation right now because we're seeing the pain, we're witnessing the pain. We've witnessed it for so long, and now we're becoming privy, and now it's becoming a pattern. And now it's like we just heard we were dealing with the virus, then we heard about the gentleman that got killed running, and then we heard about Brianna, and then we hear about George, and it's just like, yo, no, we're done. So like that's what's going on, is that the empathy is at an all-time high, and we're done seeing you guys hurt. We're done seeing it.
And so this is something that I realized while being in Boston with the white young man who was like, I could see it in your eyes that you want to kill us and you want to shoot us. And I was like, whoa. I'm in the way. Like, you saying that from behind me. Like, chill out. I'll let them know if I want to die. You don't do it for me. Okay.
Don't antagonize.
Right. I said we're not here to you're not here to antagonize. You're here to advise. Like, relax. Now, so when I saw that happen, and afterwards we had a conversation once things cooled down, and he was like, "Oh, I'm just so mad, you know, like just over this past week, I've just been thinking about everything, and we've been out here protesting all day, and I'm just so upset and I'm angry." And I said, I was like, "I don't know if you know this, but I'm a black male, and I didn't get this way yesterday. So I understand that this past week has been tough for you, but I need you to understand that it took me 32 years to learn how to kind of wrangle it in and how to point my aggression or how to point my anger or how to point this thing. And I know you're not going to learn that in a week."
I was just about to say, like, bro, you're talking to white kids who are now activating their privilege to think that in ways that they feel are effective for us. So it's gonna definitely take them some time to learn it.
And that's what I'm trying. And that's what I was getting to the point of him to understand. I'm like, I've had years to learn how to deal with this. You've had a week. So I get you're not there yet, but you must listen to me. If I can get there, you should be able to get there a little bit quicker than me so that it's not putting us at risk. And then he was like, yeah, man, you're right. And I got it. His whole world is crashing. He's probably reflecting on his past 20, 24 years of life going, what in my life did I get, did I accomplish, did I do that was due to the harm or hurt of another person of color? Did I get into school over someone who should have gotten in, but they didn't get in because they said, I want the white guy? Did I get my job because I may not have been more qualified, but the other person showed up. They read the resume and the name was Peter Walker. And then he showed up and they were like, "Oh, Dad, we didn't expect Peter Walker to look like that." And
listen, that's actually like literally how shit's happened to me. And what's funny is I still got hired because the name still fooled them and was like, maybe he really is a Peter though. And then they met Larnell and was like, nah, get this nigga out of here.
So, so I get it. They're probably looking back at their whole world going, damn, did I really get ahead due to a racist system? And now they're angry because they don't know what's real or not for them. What was their own merit and what was privilege?
So I want to ask Nina. So like, because I asked you before, and I want to keep checking in on my little homie. So how's your son dealing with it? Like, how's he? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's his take on it right now? Because I'm really interested in the youth, because a lot of times I feel like adults, we forget what it's like to be 18, 19, 20, 21. You know what I'm saying? And we have to somewhat not excuse their youthful exuberance, but we have to help them rein it without pushing them, because sometimes when we put what they're fighting right now is authority, and then if we come into authoritative, we can really lose them to the sauce. So like, what have you been having conversations recently, and what are those conversations been like with your son?
No conversations with my son, to keep it 100. My son, like I said, I've been working all damn day, so I've been more or less like, listen, I just need you to sit home and take care of the baby. That's what it is. I do this weekend. I have to sit my son down and have a very big conversation a very long conversation with him, because my son, he's not even his right now, his mind, as I know from afar, working, like I said, all these hours, his mind is not even like 100% on that. You know what I'm saying? He has a newborn baby. He's trying to raise the baby and take care of the baby. And I'm just trying to keep him in the house and keep him there until I can get to him and have this conversation with him and let him know what it is. I know he's like watching social media and like watching what everybody's doing. And I had just minor talks like, do you see Brockton acting crazy? You stay in the house. I can't, like, right now is not the time. I have so much going on in my personal life right now that I can't allow him to get out there and experience this or see exactly what's going on without getting in his head and let him know, what's right, what's wrong, and what's exactly going on. So I have not had that conversation with him as of yet, but it is going down this weekend because he needs to understand, he needs to know what is going on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Mark sends his blessings on the new baby and the family, Nina.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. It's keeping me, honestly, this whole new family thing is really keeping me out of the know. Like I mentioned before, like all this is going on, and I salute and give the utmost respect to you guys for doing all that you're doing with the protesting and, holding down these young men that are reckless and crazy because, like Dawn said, they need the authority that is going to lead them in the right direction. So
well, you want to hear something? You want to hear something truly interesting? Whew, the live wires of the girls. Like I'm not even gonna hold you at all. Like you young women are super passionate, but I'm just trying to get you to understand that if y'all pop off, we're passionate about you and we're gonna take that bullet. So like please just chill. You know what I'm saying? Like because a lot of the stuff that we've been dealing with has been, and I understand 100%. We don't want to silence our young women of color at all. Definitely but I want them to at least be measured, measured in their approach and understand that sometimes we can, even as men and women, we can get caught up in our message and our point so vehemently that we forget about the lives that's surrounding us in a group here. Right. So like your words can be someone's life here. Your actions can be someone's life here.
Definitely, I agree with you 100%.
I'll say it again. I am totally with the shits, but I am older, and with the shits means we must have a plan. Right. I'm not with random shit at all.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna get arrested for the fuck of it.
No.
I will do a sit-in. We all decide that's it. We're going to sit in front of the police station, block up the whole street, and they gotta arrest us all. I'm with the shits. But I'm not gonna go burn down a mom and pop. Don't know whose business that is. The fucking Dunkin' Donuts they burnt down in Brockton was owned by a Cape Verdean family. It was a franchise.
There's currently an Amazon facility on fire in California, I think.
Oh, damn.
Amazon. Wow. You know how many jobs?
Jeez.
Wow.
You know how many jobs?
That's probably like what, 20,000 jobs approximately? More than that?
I mean,
dude.
Crocodile tears. Like Amazon's way up. They didn't make more money than a lot of people.
So I get
you.
I'm talking about the employees.
No. I get you. I get you. But when you're that, like Amazon is somebody that's gonna like that shit's gonna be right back. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna be like, oh, okay, Robotron, blah blah blah. So I get what you're saying.
Said Robotron.
I get what you're saying, but Bezos hasn't. You know, somebody like Bezos has to take a claim in the shit too. You know what I'm saying? Because let me give you an example. Today, right, is the first day, and I'm not throwing no shade, but today's the first day I didn't cross promote to New Bedford Live because they made a statement that I felt was, I know what he was trying to say, but I need our media to stick to being media, fam. And just cover the stories. Don't do anything. Don't do anything that's gonna make it worse on you or anybody else, or don't do it because you know it's gonna be, clickable and shit. So today was the first day. I said, yo, I'm not gonna do it. I was offered by New Bedford. We were offered by New Bedford Guide to stream our content through their channel as well. And I would love to do that to gain more awareness, but I think that I would have to sit down and have a conversation first and foremost, because again, now I've never been in a position in my life where I'm trying to do all of this work to help, but we're under the microscope more than ever now. People are critiquing every move we make. People that aren't making any moves are critiquing every move that we make. And if I'm trying to work with the police department that has people that do want to change, do want to help, that's frowned upon. We had a day where the crowd wanted the cops to kneel. We got them to kneel. Then the next day, the narrative, fuck them kneeling. I'm like, yo, this shit's, I don't know how to help you accomplish your goal if you don't have organization in line. Now, I will say this. I do understand the thought process, but I think people, again, we have more voices online than ever. So it's almost harder to get the movement to build steam when you got, and now on the internet, the loudest, most outrageous voice is taking over. See, I could be on some militant shit, go out here and take over all these protests and check everybody and be on some wild shit, but that's not going to do anything. So I've chosen to take a step back and allow these kids, the youth that are trying to take the charge, to do what they feel is necessary. When they hit, because that's a part of life. If they hit the wall, they hit the fucking wall. I had to hit a lot worse than they've had to deal with so far. Because I'm telling you right now, like I was in Boston. I didn't get shot by a rubber bullet in New Bedford. I got shot by a rubber bullet in Boston. So it's a little different out here. At first, I was super worried about these kids safety out here in New Bedford, but now I'm starting to realize like some want the smoke, but I don't know. I'm not sure about how much. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
To some of
exactly.
them, it's just a game of cat and mouse.
Right.
It's not like Brockton. Like Brockton, I knew part of me knew Brockton was gonna get it cracking. Like I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew Boston was gonna get it cracking. You know, now if you told me some shit like I don't know Cambridge or you know what I'm saying, some shit like I don't know, Brighton, Mass got it popping. I'm like, oh shit, this shit's getting out of hand, people. This
Anything
shit's
happened
getting
in
out of hand.
Springfield?
Yeah, Tyson, did anything
Yeah.
go down in Springfield?
A bunch of stuff went down in Springfield. I don't have all the details, so I don't want to say it like that, but I will say the mayor and the police marched out there. Some people were happy with it, some people weren't. Some people did get arrested, some stuff like that did happen. But you know, I definitely will check in more. I was talking to my brother today, and he was kind of like, hey bro, I appreciate everything that you're doing. Like mom is letting me know. And he was like, just be safe out there. He said, but I'm too old. Like my brother almost almost 50. So you know.
So here's something that uniquely I just thought about. All four of our social networks right here, we all have different perspective by area.
Yeah.
Because even though Linnell is New Bedford, he still has that Boston that he had before he came to New Bedford. So we've seen a lot of Boston feed. Nina's seeing Boston and Brockton. You're seeing New Bedford and Springfield. I'm seeing New Bedford. So we very uniquely get to see like the positivity and the platforms that are being used in our individual cities. To speak on that a little bit, I feel like in New Bedford, you're seeing a huge push from the people that I call downtownigans. They're the people that own like the businesses downtown. You're seeing a ton of and big credit to white women. You're seeing a big plug-in from white women in the New Bedford community trying to make a stand. Adversely, you see a lot of white males on social media getting themselves into some shit.
Right.
So, like saying outlandish things that are like trying to be said in jest, but it's not being delivered at all. Like it shouldn't be being delivered.
Right. Exactly.
So,
like hold that.
Well, they ain't alone. Ellis just said what was deemed as tone deaf. I don't really know if I necessarily
I didn't know how
agree
I felt about
with
it
it because I'm like, well, this is a plight of people of color. So I don't know. And that's another thing we're going to run into. Because Ellen made a statement. Tyson, let me see if I can pull it up. Tyson sent me earlier. Let me pull it up real quick. Ellen made a statement that people consider to be tone deaf. And I don't know. Let's all digest it together and let me know what you think. Because I don't know. Again, like some of this shit, I'm like, what are we? I don't know what the hell we're talking about anymore.
And this is what I want to point out to people that this month is Pride Month. We've got Juneteenth, and then of course LGBTQ community is considered a minority community or a version of an oppressed community, of course. So to have her be like the beacon of LGBTQ-ness. She is under more scrutiny in this.
Well, this is 2 for 2 for Ellen, though, right, Tyson? Because you know how we treated the staff with COVID.
Exactly.
She treated her staff with COVID like shit, and then now this. I don't know how I feel about this one though. So it says Ellen DeGeneres sparks outrage after deleting tone deaf tweet. Let's see. So she posted, like so many of you, I am angry and I am sad. Wait, no, where's the original tweet? Here it is. Yeah. So like so many of you, I am angry and I am sad. People of color in this country have faced injustice for far too long. For things to change, things must change. We must commit ourselves to this change with conviction and with love. Now, I really didn't hear anything that sounded tone deaf there.
Yeah.
But I guess this guy, May Lee, wrote on his thing, not people of color. George Floyd was black. Why are we being so cautious and serious? It's black people. It's not love. It's just if you just mean sweetly imploring oppressed people to stop them. See, like this is the problem, right?
Reading more into it.
Because I get it, but nah.
We have Native Americans. We have that.
Because you're forgetting that how
people
many
of
Native
color.
Americans are killed on their reservations, and because they are under different laws, this shit doesn't get reported. How many Native American women are missing? How many Latino women, Latino women and children are stuck in camps and detention centers at the border, and kids are dying in cages and etc. Like, yes, we're gonna chant Black Lives Matter because they never mattered here, but we have to understand that this is about a larger movement for all people of color. You know what I'm saying? So like, we can't get into separatism and colorism now, because I feel like that was more of following down the colorism hole, and this is where we might not be effective on getting anywhere if we're gonna get into the colorism hole, because we got to fight for all of us, man. They treat us all like niggas at the end of the day, so we got to fight for all of us. It didn't bother me with Ellen, but everyone on the tiptoe verbally after this is terrible. Yeah, I didn't feel like, I feel you, Mark. I didn't feel like she tiptoed. I felt like she called it out. You know what I mean? Especially from the LGBT community.
Honestly, any angle would have been attacked.
Yeah, and
Definitely.
it's tough right now. Yeah, it's tough right now.
If she says people of color, black people are mad that she didn't just specify black. If she says just black people, people then feel neglected. Like, whoa, we're in this country too, and we get treated like shit too.
Well, this is why
or she's calling them black, and then it's kind of like
exactly.
African Americans. Like, any way she came out of it, somebody would have had something to say.
Well, this is why I keep saying, stop saying shit and do something.
Right.
If you don't know what to say, do something. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't know what to say, start a scholarship fund for young people of color. If you don't know what to say, donate to the cause. If you feel literally like you feel like verbally, I don't think I'm gonna muster up any way I say it is gonna be the right word.
Let me supply food to protesters.
Exactly. Let me start a bail fund for the protesters. Let me, you know what I'm saying? Let me start to be realistic here, and this is what I be trying to explain to these kids. Okay, motherfucker started a bail fund for you, and you feel like that gives you a green light to act up. But if you die, who's gonna start your funeral fund?
Did you see what Kanye did?
For George, yeah, but we can't do that 1,015 times over and over again with kids that are going to be adding themselves to the list. He held it down.
Scholarship?
Yeah, for his children and all of that good stuff. But the shit be so conflicted because, like, again, we get into the infighting. So like, everybody's like, so half are like, thank you, Kanye, and half are like, he don't give a fuck. He was wearing a MAGA hat.
Right.
So we're so fucked up right now. It's all fucked up right now.
Now, I want to talk about someone that's in an Ellen DeGeneres position. So Ellen, Oprah, Tyler Perry, anyone that's in the production side of things, like, right now is the time where they should be, if they really want to help and don't know what to say, right? Like, not telling them what they should or shouldn't do because it's their money, it's their time, whatever. But if you look at their positions and having the production companies and things, this is a time where you go, let me find black media who have been underserved, neglected, that are putting out stories that aren't getting the win that they need to be heard by more people, and let me highlight those. I don't know what to say, so let me give them the platform to say what they want, and people take it how they want, but I'm just being the conduit to get you the information. Because a lot of independent black media, a lot of quote unquote mainstream black media is not getting the same reaction as a CNN, as a Fox, not the same eyeballs, and therefore their messaging isn't reaching people the way that it should about how they actually feel about the situation. You have anchors on CNN, anchors on Fox telling people how black people feel about the situation, not saying they don't have black anchors sprinkled in there, but the network controls the content. So is it really coming from the people that you want to hear it from, that you need to hear it from, is really the question.
And that's what this platform is all about. And that's where I get work. See, I'm confused right now because, like, I'm in a space where I don't, this is not my wheelhouse, fam. Like, I'm just out here caring. I'm just a person with a heart and a soul. I didn't wake up and was like, yo, I'm gonna be on some activism shit and I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just been out here helping the community. And when the community's at its most dire, I feel like I need to be out here some more. To keep people safe, but like, I don't have all the answers right now. I just need some sense of logic. No matter whether or not you're gonna be on the stupid, the rough side, or the peaceful side. I need logic. You know what I'm saying? I need the peaceful protest side to be doing more than making signs and understand legislation and understanding getting into office, understand the power of your vote, understanding it's not about Democratic, Republican. It's about actually getting the policies in place that are going to affect you in the long run. Stop by, because now it's the movement is being subverted by turning it into politics.
Right.
We're turning this into, we're giving Trump too much time on this shit and making it about red and blue when Biden ain't the motherfucker either.
No.
When, so like we got to get out of this is the perfect time to realize the red and blue shit is what's keeping the wound open.
Well, and let me touch on this, because Sean King actually tweeted something out, and I was like, okay, this is officially like it, because Sean King, as you know, is super Dem, normally like all over the Democratic agenda, things like that. And so he tweeted out and said, stop generically telling us to vote in response to all the police brutality we have right now. Yes, we should vote, but we have to be very specific. Democrats from top to bottom are running cities with the worst police brutality in America right now, and we voted for them. So
it's a fact.
It can't be blue no matter who. It can't be. It has to be. It can't be red no matter who. It has to be. Show me your agenda, and I will vote based on that.
Listen, the election's coming up, right? If nobody has an agenda, what are you really leveraging with your vote? I'm not telling you not to vote, but I'm telling you, are you even thinking about the effect of your vote?
Well, so here's where the people's vote does a job of trying to coerce the collegiate vote, right? Like the college, the electoral college. So even if what happens is if there's one solid Republican who we know who that is right now, and then we have a bunch of other parties, all it does is reduce down the amount of votes that could make this side's contender, because this side's very solid. This side's going to have somebody no matter what. So we need to there needs to be an individual that's able to pull from both parties, and it'll bubble down into that. Without that happening, we're just going to be having one side win over and over.
Yeah, you're just diluting. You're essentially diluting one side of the pool, which, by the way, I'm so tired of it. Yo, I think the two-party system is such bullshit, bro.
It's whack. It's whack.
Fucking bullshit. I hate it. I've hated it since it's been about, oh, well, you like this? Well, then I'm just not going to like it. And that's what we're going to do. Like, that's so childish, bro. That is beyond childish, that I can't believe that that's the system we're playing into. The fact that it's, if you want the toy, I want it too. If you don't want it, well, then I don't want it either. Like, that's childish. You look at your kids and you're like, stop that shit. When we're looking at our government and they're telling us we can't stop that shit because it's too far gone. Well, no, we can stop that shit. We can stop the fact that a third party needs to get 5% of the national vote in order to be qualifying. That's stupid. That is stupid.
Listen,
it shouldn't take 5%.
Here's what we got to come to terms with. All great dynasties meet their demise. Now we got to decide if we're going to be able to collapse and rebuild expeditiously, or if we're, TI expeditiously, or if we're going to collapse and stay in the ashes.
Right.
Because if we can't rebuild what we already got going on here, this is we have to move into the future. This is a new generation. We need new ideas. We need new things going on. We need people to understand that this has to be about the collective. It cannot be about, the bullshit anymore. We don't have time to spare. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I want my fucking Marty McFly, whatever the fuck his name is, flying skateboard. And I can't get that shit because we're too busy getting stuck in the Crayola box. I can't get that shit because I got to be worried about raising 4 black children, a 5th on the way, and making sure that statistically I might lose one of them.
Right.
And forget statistically, realistically, I'm telling you, if anybody takes my child, I don't give a fuck if you're a cop or not. If you take my child unjustly away from me, I'm going with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to have to live feeling like that. That's not a thought that I should have to live with feeling like that. I got to prepare myself that if someone unjustly takes my child, I'm going with them.
Right.
Because I'm tired of watching mothers crying on TV. I'm tired of watching fathers crying on TV and Zimmerman still walking around and shit.
Right.
I'm all about peace. I am, until you fuck with my family.
I'm tired of the aggressors getting hugs. Like that's what I'm really tired of, because you have Amber Geiger getting hugged and forgiven. We don't get that same forgiveness when we commit a crime.
Yeah, I was
And
about
it
to
could
say,
be, and it could
what
be, and it could be
aggressors?
petty. It could be petty. You're not forgiving a dude for selling coke that's black. You're not like, oh, you know what? I get it. You were in a bad environment. Come here. Let me hug you before you go into prison. You're not
you go
getting
straight
that.
to jail.
You're going straight to jail. You're probably not talking to your family. You're going straight from cuffs to the county. Like that's what it is. But so you have someone who kills someone getting hugs, getting sympathy notes. We're black people. I'm too nice. I can say that, but overall, we're too nice. And I'm not saying we have to be assholes, but we need to start being a little bit more firm with our accountability of those who wrong us, and realize they need to show some action in order to earn our forgiveness, re-earn our trust, and re-earn everything that they think they're entitled to from us. They need to earn it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, and that's an excellent point. It's an excellent point, because we've gotten too comfortable. And I am absolutely, listen to me carefully, people. I am absolutely 110% proud that we've had a black president. Absolutely. But I feel like some of us said, job done. That was the easiest. That was the earliest step. The earliest
job
step
done. That was
we
just
got
the
a
beginning.
whole lot of shit left to do. We cannot fall asleep because we had 1 out of 45. Well, some argue 2, but or 3. Some are mixed. But you know what I'm saying? We got a whole lot of work to do. I want to bring up Mason's question real quick, because I thought he had a great question. I want Tyson to touch on this as someone who works with Vote New Bedford, or is working along with Vote New Bedford.
Yep.
So he says the census asks you for your name, race, and address. How would you feel? How should we feel comfortable about assisting them and making a database where every black man lives? Just asking. Great question.
Yeah, honestly, I'm conflicted on that, because on one hand, I want people to understand what the census does. The census helps us get the federal funding that we need for our budget, right? And specifically, I'll talk about New Bedford not quite hitting the 100,000 person mark. And you need to hit that mark in order to get a boost in funding, right? And that funding is supposed to go towards programming that's supposed to help our community, whether it's infrastructure, whether it's police training, whether it's education, any of those things. That money's supposed to go towards. And so it's a tricky system where, as a black society, we've always been dangled money in front of us in order to do something that we feel skeptical about, right? We're always told, like, oh, well, here you go. Like COINTELPRO, oh, you don't want to infiltrate the black system? Well, we'll pay you to do it. And then you have a black person going, well, shit, I ain't got nothing. I guess I'll take it. I almost feel like it's the same thing with the census. And so it is uncomfortable, straight up and down. Me and Marion talk about it. We like, yeah, we know we got to fill out the census, but we like, nah, do we feel comfortable with it? No. And I can't answer that from individual to individual. I want people to fill it out, but do what makes you comfortable. If you don't want to be tracked in database like that, I mean, also they have your driver's license and shit and your insurance. So like it is in the system somewhere. So do think about that. They have your face, they have your name, they have your address in the system already. But if that gives you some level of discomfort and paranoia, I can't make you do it. I can't. So do what feels right for you, but understand what the census is actually about and for. From a monetary standpoint, that's supposed to help our community. And if you believe it, then go for it. If you don't, then don't. That's it.
Yeah, it's really hard to discern what's credible information and what's good information anymore. But I always like to preface people, you know, sometimes we're looking over here and not paying it. Right now, our faces are on these screens, and you know, we're here using this technology. Facebook has had a good 10 years to bag and tag everybody.
Yeah.
You can't. Walmart cameras have facial recognition.
Yeah, they're bagging and tagging everybody. So you know, unless you're, you know, walking around with those jackets that got the fluorescent shit on it to block out your shit, and you're not using this shit at all, right. It's kind of over, bro. Like,
yeah.
and it was over before that, to be honest with you. I mean, the government created the internet.
Right, yeah. Facts.
It was created by the government. So what makes you think that they really, really, really need subpoenas to get information? What makes you think like this shit is a game? This shit is a game to make you think that they're asking when you found out that the NSA is not asking. They're taking information. So this shit is a game. You know, we got to be very careful. We got to be very careful. Let me see what Devin says. I think with the census, they are getting raw information by numbers. Like Ty said, they pretty much have all the info they need on whoever. Exactly. Yeah, they do. I mean, the information, it's I can Google you right now, bro. Like you don't be stupid enough to try to have smoke and think I can't Google you right now. My freaking phone. See, the feds is on me right now. I said Google and my phone pulled up some shit. You see what I'm saying? Like
now, what's funny? Well, not funny, but also additional information about the census is they removed the citizenship question. Although this question never counted against anyone, they removed the citizenship question to make it easier for people who aren't citizens, maybe in limbo with their citizenship, or maybe undocumented / illegal, so they can still fill out the census, because whether they're legal or not, if they have kids and their kids go to school, we need funding in order to properly educate their child alongside of ours. So they removed that question so that the funding could go there. So like, again, if we don't get that funding, it does affect the educational quality, the building quality and experience for our kids, and what they're able to access. I mean, your kids in public school.
Listen, they've been the data's already there, bro. If you got a bank account, if you got a fucking, I don't give a fuck if you got a rush card, if you filled out for anything that has to do with anything, they got you, bro. Like, we have to understand something. If we don't make this shift now, I believe in my heart, this is my personal belief, this is the universe does shit in its own way. We are at the point, if we don't do something now, if this is not the moment, at the beginning of a new decade, new paradigm, new viruses, we got to get away from Crayola so we can fucking cure COVID.
Right.
We got to get away from Crayola so we can traverse the universe. We got to get away from COVID so these kids can actually benefit from the technology that they have, and it's not being weaponized against them to marginalize their minds and make them feel smarter because they got a smartphone in their hand, but it's giving them shitty information to keep them divided. All information is not good information. We got kids that are in class. We got kids that go to college, think they took a Black history course, think that they're well versed on Black history, come out preaching all this Black history shit, Black movement shit, but you learned it from a white establishment. You got the censored version of your people. Did they teach you about Nat Turner? Nah. Why? Because they don't want you to fight back.
Nope.
They don't want you to know that man used the Bible against the people who gave him the Bible to galvanize his people to fight for their own freedom. They don't want to talk about whether or not Harriet Tubman actually killed slave owners. They don't want to talk about this stuff. You know why? Because that's the best way to pacify us. They pick and choose the narration that they want to give us of our leaders from our movements.
And to be honest, every time that we hear about any of our leaders, civil rights, slave leaders, anything like that, we always get the pacifist is glorified, and the one that said I'm militant and not taking no shit is vilified. For the longest time in school growing up, thank God for my mom for teaching me the difference, but in school they always told us Malcolm X was the bad guy and MLK was the good guy. And they always told us Gandhi was the good guy. Gandhi was a racist. But they told us Gandhi was so great. Mother Teresa was so great. all these people were so great, but Marcus Garvey was bad. Like
the winners write history, man. Once I learned that, it threw the whole book out the fucking window to me. You know what I'm saying? Like once I learned that, the whole book, I was like, yeah, fuck that. His story, I'm good. Toss that shit. You understand what I'm saying? I don't have a dogma, but I'm very spiritual. I believe in the universe. I literally, when I start going into any kind, I guess what you would call prayer, is I literally start with, no, people, listen to me. I literally start with, I don't know who the fuck is up there, because these niggas down here is confused. I don't know. But I know something's up there because this shit exists. And I'm thankful for everything that's been created here, but I hope that you can understand the confusion of me not being able to call you whatever, because it's been how many thousands of fucking religions over time in the history of mankind? I mean, we had Zeus throwing lightning at motherfuckers at one point. Like, what are we talking about here? You understand what I'm saying? We had pharaohs with dog heads and all this other shit. We don't know. You understand what I'm saying? And it's and that's the problem. Not enough people are willing to just admit we don't know.
See, and so there's a movie called The Invention of Lying. I don't know if anyone's ever seen it. But the premise of the movie there is that religion was created as a way to explain things, and so that's what fueled his lying. When his mother, I believe his mother died or was dying, and to ease his mother into dying and being okay with it, because she said she was scared, he lied to her. It was in a society that could only tell the truth, and so he lied to her and told her that there was this great place that she was going to be going after she died to comfort his mother. And from that point on, everyone kept going to him for information about this great place and how does he know about the place and all this. And so the lie just got more and more and more elaborate. And that is how in the movie religion got started, because they believed in God, they believed in an afterlife. So I often feel like all of these different versions of religions were really created because we don't know, and the way to comfort not knowing is creating something that you know. And that's why we have all these different versions, because people around the world said, I don't know what it is, but I need to explain this to my grandmother, my kid, my whatever. And so the lie became justified. And instead of just saying, we don't know. So
breaking news. I'm going to pull this up real quick because I think that this, again, I don't know how to take some of this shit. But we're gonna pull it up and we're gonna talk about it. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this up for you guys. So we got breaking news from the NFL. This is going to be pretty interesting for people to watch. I wonder how this is going to go. Oh, no, let me make sure I share audio because I want us to watch the video together. And let's see what Roger Goodell has to say and the NFL has to say, because it looks like they've changed their tone radically today. So NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell says he was wrong. The league was wrong for not listening to players about racism. I mean, God, welcome to the party. You're kind of late, but let's see how this can go. You know what I'm saying? So let's listen.
Wrong for not listening to players as they took a knee to promote social justice here in the United States, and he's now formally apologizing. Listen to this.
It is low.
Difficult time for our country, in particular, Black people in our country. First, my condolences to families, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and all the families living with police brutality. We, the National Football League, condemn racism and the systematic oppression of Black people. We, the National Football League, admit we were wrong for not listening to NFL players earlier and encourage all to speak out and peacefully protest. We, the National Football League, believe Black Lives Matter. I personally protest with you and want to be part of the much needed change in this country. Without Black players, there would be no National Football League.
Oh, wait, what? Whoa,
nigga. I'm about to show y'all the COVID cut. Like, what?
What?
Wait, can we get the volume up on that? Because the volume's low.
That's as loud as it, I know. I was trying. That's as loud as it gets. Sorry, guys. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. They're trying to silence that man. Let's finish that. Wow.
Protests around the country are emblematic of the centuries of silence, inequality, and oppression of Black players, coaches, fans, and staff. We are listening. I am listening. And I will be reaching out to players who have raised their voices and others on how we can improve and go forward for a better and more united NFL family.
Dope.
All right, so let's unpack that. I want to start with Nina.
I have resigned.
Let's unpack that. What do you think?
I definitely think that is dope. That he just took me by surprise. This is just definitely something that we known, but just for him to speak of it, it just I don't want to say it. What is the word I'm looking for? What am I trying to say? He just caught me completely by surprise, and not verified, maybe a verified, or like, what is the word I'm looking for?
Confirmed.
Confirmed. Confirmation. Yeah. It just confirms a lot that we already knew. I think it's about time that it's sad that it takes such tragedy to happen for all of this to finally come out, and for people to speak up and speak out in ways that we never thought we would hear them speak up about certain situations, especially about racism. I don't know. I'm kind of speechless, but I think it's definitely dope.
Yeah.
I think fuck, man, because no matter, it seems like, so here's the thing, right? He could be legit right now, and I think that we got people who are so angry that they're not going to accept that. I want to know what Kaepernick's response is going to be. That's what first comes to mind to me. I want to know if this is going to have to do with Cap having any kind of role. Fine, he might not play for the league again, but will he be their community relations officer as far as dealing with sensitivity training and how we're dealing with the owners of Black players? Is this going to turn into Black ownership of NFL teams? I don't want to jump the gun and feel great. It's great that we got those words for sure. And I'm going to accept that under good faith, but hope that, but the only time I'm going to believe that is when we see some actions taking place. Now I will say this. I will say this.
It's a stepping stone.
Absolutely. And him and Jay have done great work before this with what they've been trying to do as far as, the campaign that they've been running to help with, the communities. They've donated a lot of money. They put a lot of money into impoverished communities as of recent, since the Kaepernick situation. Sometimes I wonder, and I don't know, so don't come at me, chill the fuck out. I don't know if the Kaepernick movement started off as something noble and turned into something. It's easy to slip from being righteous to self-righteous. And this is a good time that if it's not a matter of being self-righteous, that they open up those channels of communication and figure it out, because this can be a big moment. Because if I know why people love one thing, they love their football. Especially middle America. I agree. He's using his voice as an ally. That's big coming from Roger Goodell. We need that from other white leaders. That's true.
I'm going to chime in.
Yes, please do.
So I just want to paint out some perspective that I've kind of been contemplating while you guys have been chatting about it. This is coming off of the tail end of Drew Brees, kind of sticky subject, kind of shouldn't have said tweet or something. So this should have been expected, that the NFL is going to come in and kind of swoop in.
Well, he did that tweet.
Right. Yeah. Well, he said something about the American flag. It shouldn't ever be disrespected. And it's so this isn't just coming from Roger Goodell. It's also not limited just at that. That's coming from the recognition of the whole league. That's the whole and that wasn't written by Roger Goodell. That was definitely written by like their public representative, and he delivered it. So that's coming from that whole league. That's not just coming from Roger Goodell. So there's a realization there too that's greater than just being limited to that one person.
Yeah, because he stressed it more than enough times. The league, the NFL league.
So that's not. Let's not just limit that to him. Give props to the whole league for acknowledging that.
He's the vessel. Yeah, he's just the vessel.
Right. So I just see that in the comments they're like saying like good go Goodell, but like that's that corporation.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what's interesting is, and again, this is
the thing.
Oh, yep, go ahead.
Oh yeah. I mean, of course that goes without even being said.
They have a vested interest.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing too. So I want to pull this one up because now that you brought up the Drew Brees situation, that's a great segue into. I had a tab up for that. So let's get into it real quick because so Drew Brees had a stance on, you know, how he felt about Drew Brees has always been a guy who is all about, you know, there are people who are patriotic about the American flag and and sometimes their ability to convey themselves with their beliefs about the flag and country, God and country and all of that stuff can get very convoluted. And when it comes to stances of race relations, etc., right? So President Trump said New Orleans Saints quarterback Drew Brees should not have apologized for statements he made hammering players who knelt during the national anthem to protest racism and police brutality in the United States. He said, quote, I am a big fan of Drew Brees. I think he's truly one of the greatest quarterbacks, but he should not have taken back his original stance on honoring our magnificent American flag. Old glory is to be revered, cherished, and flown high, Trump tweeted. We should be standing up straight and tall, ideally with the salute and hand on heart. There are other things you can protest, but not our great American flag. No kneeling, he continued. So let me just say this, right? And this is where we're talking about being tone deaf. Because this is what this kind of relates to what happened with New Bedford Live. You're being tone deaf. You cannot expect people who are oppressed or marginalized to take pride in a flag that represents the system that's oppressing them. That's ignorant. If you want us to take pride in that flag, in Old Glory, as you call her, then tell her to love us. Tell her to appreciate us. Tell her to treat us right. Tell her to give us equity at the table. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm cool with the game of words and the rhetoric, and I'm going to take that statement. I'm going to take it
and
because that's going to be important for a lot of black children to hear. But I'm not going to hold on to it until I see equity. I'm not going to hold on to nothing anybody says until I see equity. We grew up in the projects. We know what it's, and I don't give a fuck if you didn't grow up in the projects. We all have grown up and heard empty promises. We've dealt with it election after election after election after election. We've dealt with it relationship after relationship after relationship after relationship. We've dealt with it friendship after friendship after friendship, workplace, teachers, you name it. We've all dealt with broken promises. I am a person who can hear you empathetically for sure. But after I give you that empathy, I'm looking at your actions. I'm not hearing shit unless I see actions matching up with these words. If a man or a woman can tell you they love you all they want, but if they're fucking your best friend, fuck out of here. We need actions. You understand what I'm saying? We need equity. We need to see black owners. We need to see more black coaches interviewed and hired, not just interviewed for the patronization of the process.
Right.
We need a lot more to go on, and we can make it. This is a good thing. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying it's not a good first step. Just the same way I feel like we took a good first step when we got these kids, the cops kneeled, then the kids actually were out there having a conversation and a dialogue. I think that's the only reason that this city was not fucked up. Is because there was a dialogue created, good or bad, or whether it be an agreement or not, it happened. And now we're creating good, healthy public discourse again. Let's see what we got here. So it's he said no black people. Yep. No one wrote that for him. Personality would not say that. Yeah, I'm with Thorne though. You know, they all got PR department. When you're that high, they definitely got PR department.
Yeah, they had somebody that wrote a clean speech.
Oh
He's
yeah,
out
they're
also in
definitely
the best
gonna they're
interest
gonna
of
say
foreigners
that
from
because they're
cancer.
trying to
It's
overcompensate too.
Yeah, no. You know, because the reason that I would say definitely he had somebody write it too is because if I was that person with that, look at what happened to Ellen. She probably wrote her own tweet and nobody advised her. Did you notice that? Did you notice that he said black? He said
Yep.
black
Not African
several
American,
times because
not people of color.
somebody in his department learned like, nah, black's the wave right now.
Yo,
You better not fuck
you
that
saw
up.
you saw what happened to Ellen. You don't want that.
All right. He said black. You know what I mean? So and here's the thing. I also want to say that I'm not listen, do you think that Jay or someone didn't help with that? That's what he hired him for.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally believe Jay was like black, blackety black, bro. Black.
Dude, who is Jay?
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
Oh, Jay-Z. Oh, okay.
Yep.
I thought you was talking about somebody in the NFL. I was like, in the NFL league. I was like, I don't know who Jay is.
Nah, Mark, I definitely think Mark, they're not that when you're in and again we have Mark said yeah, but not the black people part. So check me out, right? When you're it's natural. So some people don't understand the disconnect of a person with money and people without money. It's a natural disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're in a different space and your verbiage can change sometimes based on your condition, based on how much money you actually have. There's very few people that get millions and stay modest. Everybody ain't Keanu Reeves, son.
Mm-hmm.
So in those times, if you're really trying to be someone to help change, you need help with how you're going to say it.
Yep.
You do. And that's okay. I'm not mad at somebody helping them get that out because it's out there now. It's in the universe.
Well, yeah, it's just a representation of the whole organization. You know what I mean? Like it. So it was definitely written for him to be able to bring that to the public that way.
Oh, he definitely. And Mark, don't get me twisted. He definitely had. Here's how it normally happens, right? You want to put out a statement, right? Well, you get with your PR people, whoever's going to be your social, your human relations department, whoever, human resources, all of that, and you guys compile different ways of how the points of which you're trying to make in your conversation. And then people, this is when you have money, people, because what you say is absolute. This ain't broke Joe on fucking Facebook saying random shit. This is when you have money. You got to be very careful.
Yeah.
So all of those points are gathered, and then you have the people that you trust come in, sort that shit out. And now it's some of yours and some of theirs, but it's for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the nature of the beast.
Mm-hmm. True.
Left for us to criticize. Yep.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of the beast. I mean, listen, Beyonce said something, and I saw people attack her online. Let me see if I can find that real quick while you guys talk about it. So Thorne, I want you to talk about, because I've been seeing you, man. You've been going hard. Like, once we talked about like making sure that people are aware of what's going on in the community, especially from your perspective with, any of the white peers that you have that might be a little tone deaf on it or can't really grasp it. I think the more that our allies are pushing that in front of people for people to, because death is something that we all can empathize with if you push it hard enough. We get insensitive to death because if it ain't ours, we don't feel it. But if we make ourselves feel collectively like it's ours, this is our people too, then we can start getting to a place where we start really breaking down some of these barriers. So I just want you to talk about, because you were making some great posts, and I just want you to talk about what has it been like for you? Is it still difficult to navigate and understand what you're sharing versus what you're not? How are you dealing with that?
Well, the first, I just try to find the least bias, like, statements that are possible. Look, I'm not trying to fall into any sort of like, anything that could have any sort of conflict. I'm trying to share the good part of the message. That's like really what I'm trying to do. Like, I'm trying to share the positivity that's coming out of the message and bring awareness to ignorance as well. So that's really how I've been spreading it. I haven't been out to any protest or anything like that, disappointedly, but I'm occupado for most of the time, for lack of a better excuse. But no, I mean, I've just been trying to make sure that people understand that I'm not trying to be biased. And to be honest, I had a conversation with a police officer I met him a while back ago, and he's a pretty good dude. And I was talking to him about like how he feels during this time, and like wishing him that he's safe, because I know he's one of the good dudes. And I'm letting him know that like, yo, like we want the good ones around. You know what I mean? We want to respect you. We want to respect the good ones, and we want to make sure that this is peaceful as well. Like we're not trying to make this anything that shouldn't be done. And, we had a conversation back and forth, and, he's like, at the end of the day, you have to remember that most of the officers are just people too. We're not just all like monsters. So I've been trying to like get the cops' perception as well, just so I don't build just a complete biasy. And it seems like there's a lot of good guys out there. We just need to find them. And we got to get rid of we got to find it.
You know what I say, and what my response to that is I appreciate good cops. Right,
Definitely.
but we need great cops. We need great cops, and when they become great is when they're cleaning up and getting rid of these fuckers in their system. Because you can say it to me, it's the same as I'm saying to you as a white ally. You can say it to me, and I'm gonna thank you, but that's not gonna help me change what I got to deal with the people. It's more effective when you hold your counterparts, responsible. And it's the same thing for the police department. So thank you for being all my good cops out there. Thank you for being good. But there's this thing called greatness that you can help achieve right now by drawing a different line than the sand, by making a different blue line and making people understand I do not stand with this. It's different. You can take a knee with us, but you also need to stand for us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying negatively about it. You know what I mean?
I know, not at all. That's not negative at all.
I'm just talking about conversations that I've had about the topic. You know what I'm saying?
Bro.
You know where I stand on the issue.
Yeah, totally respect your opinion 100%. I just like to give that next step.
I'm right there with you. I told him in our discussion, I said, but if you know anybody that's behaving the other way that we don't want, you need to make sure that we're reporting them. Like, you need to make sure that gets known, because we can't allow that. And, he understands where we're coming from for sure.
Yeah, we got to do it. It's now or never, bro. Like, I'm afraid for where we're going to go. If this moment is squandered and it's turned into a trendy thing, I can't speak for everybody, but I personally will never, I hate to say it like that, but I won't believe in the bullshit. I won't believe that anything's really going to change in my lifetime, and it's going to dishearten me, and it's going to turn me into a militant about how I got to protect my kids.
Because, I mean, when you look at this, because it's swept across the nation,
the world.
The world. I mean, they got Italy, Sweden, other countries kneeling and doing different things. Because it's swept so far and wide, and we see so many of our people in uniform, quote unquote, standing with us, kneeling with us, whatever they're doing with us. If we don't come out of this changed, if we don't come out of this with new policy, legislation, with new philosophies and psychological approaches to this, then it is going to be the ultimate smack in the face, slap in the face, disheartening action that we've probably experienced in modern. That's worse than treating us bad. You know what I mean? That's worse than treating us bad, because you gave us hope that it could be better, and then you dashed it. You said that was only during COVID. Just kidding.
Yeah, now we can't have that, and I agree.
And that a lot of people won't come back from that.
Yeah, I agree with Devin. I don't think you're naive, Devin. I think there is a shift happening. Fast enough is relative. So I agree with you. But fast enough is always relative. We live in a generation where everything's instant gratification. And even, us as older people have gotten used to being able to get the things that we want faster. But in the real world and real life, progress is going to be a process. I mean, think about, let me put it this way, right? It's moving fast. Think about where we were last week to where we are right now. Think about having the cop sitting at home in his house comfy to all the cops are charged with something. We got people trying to fight and get rid of, qualified immunity. We got bills on the deck to change and hold cops accountable.
Yep.
We got people getting educated about how they need to fight the police union to make sure that they can put cams on all these cops and get legislation passed. And people are sending letters to Governor Baker and all their governors to get all cops across the board with cameras on them and hold them accountable. How we're getting people to understand that they need to create citizen review boards. If we use these platforms correctly to get out the proper information, it's happening actually pretty damn fast. I mean, look, the George Floyd incident happened a while ago, and from that time to now, the entire world is up. I mean, you're talking from the 25th, from May 25th, it is June 5th.
About 10 days.
And the world is fucking on it. The world is on it. So we might, you're not naive at all. And there is a shift happening, and there are good, you know what, here it is. And I've been saying this to people for a while. Do we still have racist citizens? Absolutely. Absolutely. Do we have the same amount of racist citizens as in, I don't know, 1930s? We might have. I don't believe so in my heart, because when I look around, even if they are racist, it's futile if your grandchild's brown.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We're like literally fucking away racism. Like racism is literally fucked.
Yeah.
Okay. Because Kanye and Kim are like the staple for interracial relationships right now.
Yeah.
It's fucked. It's fucked. Your granddaughters love us. Your daughters love us. Your great granddaughters are gonna love us, and we're gonna love them. And the world is mixing and blending. We are at a point where, and this is why we have to make sure we don't divide our allies, because we have more of them than ever, because people are so mixed. Someone's cousin is someone's cousin, is someone's Puerto Rican, is someone's Nicaraguan, is someone's, you know, El Salvadorian, is someone's African, you know, is someone's, you know what I mean? Like it's we're blending. There's no stopping it.
Right.
There's no stopping it. It's not taboo to be in an interracial relationship as a whole. Sure, there's some people that still argue it, but it's not like, ooh, look at them over there.
Yep. It's not illegal anymore.
You know what I'm saying? Like I believe that we might be in a shift where we went from people, we talked about it before. Why do you love our culture and not love us? And I think this might be the first time where they're showing us that they love our culture and us. Not everybody, but a hell of a lot of allies. And we have to appreciate when we are making progress. It's not perfect.
Yeah.
It's not absolute. It's not the absolute solution. But we're pushing the ball forward right now. We are. And I want it to be done. I do. I want it to be done right now. I want it to be over with, and I want us to get, you know, just get beyond this. But that's the fatigue of it all. But it took generations, and I don't expect, and honestly, I don't expect this to take generations. I can say for sure in my heart that if this keeps going, and I know this is going to sound like a long time to everybody, but I'm considering political seats and everything. If this keeps going in the next 5 to 10 years, we might finally be out the Crayola box as far as the systemic side. And then we'll only be dealing with that small little slither of assholes in society.
And there'll be the anomalies in the crowd.
Exactly. Turn them into the anomalies. I told you, treat racism like the cooties. If you're a white ally and you got somebody in your family that's racist, be like, nigga.
Right. Don't pass me the gravy.
Somebody give me a mask. We got cooties and COVID in here, nigga.
Exactly. Like, I need hand sanitizer if I'm fucking with that gravy.
Right, Mark? We got to keep talking on, you know, platforms like this and being open-minded. It's true. A lot has changed. A lot of changes you're referring to have occurred through political pressure, though. I want an actual internal change in perception in the force. No, for sure. For sure. But you know, also, like, I can be honest with you, black people don't care what the reason is. The change is going to happen, whether it be political or in the force, as long as it changes.
Well, because
I'll
give this as an example. A lot of people think the civil rights movement, and not that it didn't do anything, all right, but the president at the time, which I believe was Johnson, he didn't make that change because it was the right thing. He made the change because it was a financial thing. What you had was a closed system. You had black people couldn't buy at white establishments, and white people felt empowered by going to black establishments and making them feel like shit, but for having to serve them, but they still had to spend their money there. So you had a system where white people were spending with black people, and they literally weren't allowing black people to spend with them. So when you look at it from the governmental level, they said this can only happen for so long before all of our wealth is in their hands, and then we're fucked.
Yep.
So again, we got civil rights, not because it was the morally right thing to do, but because it was the fiscally structural thing to do in order to keep the system from closing off and reopening it. And in turn, it helped diminish the impact that black businesses were able to have because they were so happy and overjoyed they could finally spend their dollars at white establishments. And they started hopping right over the mom and pops and shops that had served them for so long to go and spend their money at white shops. And that's how we end up here today with black businesses suffering so much. So realize we will take change when it comes. But I have also realized that a lot of times in our history, we've taken change to our detriment unknowingly.
Oh, absolutely. In some ways, there's people that argue whether or not integration harmed us.
Yep. I have that conversation.
I have my days.
Father.
I have my days where I wonder if integration actually harmed us. And I don't mean that we couldn't live together, but I mean we should have our own systems in some ways. You know, this is in some ways integration might be why we don't have little Africas everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like and then, you know, by the time we got our rights, you know, when other people came over and all of that, they were able to build their little, you know, Chinatowns and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So in some ways, you know,
think about Black Wall Street in every state.
Integration should have been this, but what integration became was this.
Yep.
Which was us just conforming to their system and not taking on any of our standards.
Right.
So that has to be a part of the movement too, and understanding, you know, that you take somebody from where they are from, their customs, you strip them and remove them from all of that. They try to start building back some form of, you know, semblance of who they were. Then you tell them, nah, that's not cool. We're not going to let you grow powerful. You have to assimilate to our shit. Then we do that and you still persecute and treat us like shit. It has to stop somewhere. It has to stop somewhere. Yeah. I totally like I said, I agree with Devin. Like we need more changes for sure. But I'm willing to take. I really don't give a fuck. And I'm not talking about when I say change right now, I'm not talking about like, oh, the next step. I mean, whatever's the ultimate solution is going to be, we have to use the pressure of this moment. And this is why I'm not necessarily, I don't have a comment on the looters and shit. The reason I don't is because they're applying some pressure as well. Because trust me, Targets and all of them are hitting up their local officials like, yo, bro, you better figure this shit the fuck out.
Right.
Gucci's hitting them up like, yo, bro, dog, like, yo. Amazon's definitely, Bezos is definitely calling his homeboy Trump like, yo, bro. Now the problem is people got to, you know, we have, like I said before, we got a decision to make. Is it going to be a peace treaty or a war treaty?
Which one? What are we heading towards?
That's all this shit really boils down to. We're going to have a peace treaty or a war treaty. And we're going to know very soon. The perfect storm happened. A pandemic comes. In this super fast time of technology, our lives, people got to get the work in and out. You can only focus on a certain amount of things. And a pandemic hits, everybody has to slow down. And people who probably only spoke ignorantly on racial issues had to watch a man with a knee on his neck for 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. If that doesn't appeal to some humanity inside of you, then you've drawn your line in the sand. Let's get it popping. But for all the other people that have finally woken up, I'm not mad at you, son. I'm disappointed that it took this long. Don't get it twisted. But I'm not mad if it did take this long, but you're here and we're going to make the actual real change. Not the patronization shit, not the enabling shit, not that we have a 10-point agenda that's only going to enable you but not empower you to have your own. If it's not about true empowerment if it's not about true Black independence and an ability to take care of ourselves, period, then I don't want to hear it.
Now, question. I saw a pandemic comment pop up. I think Mark had like hashtagged it or something, right?
Yep.
And a lot of people were talking about they thought the pandemic was for government control and da 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 da. Anyone out there now that still was on that conspiracy wave, what if this was actually for the recalibrating of social justice and how we treat each other? What if that was the actual plan? And like you just displayed, Peter, the steps were make everyone slow down and pause, and then make sure that they're all online and that they're starting to get comfortable using everything digital. And then you make them see it.
Don't take me down the George Soros hole, you asshole.
Right? That's where I'm taking you. You knew it.
Why are you taking me down the George Soros
plan?
Hole, man.
Break it down to rebuild it. What if that was the plan?
All right, fine. So let me turn my hat around since we're going to get into conspiracy.
He said, hold on, Lionel's coming.
All right. Got a couple minutes left. I was supposed to end at 8:30. I want to make it to this vigil, but I'm going to spend a couple of minutes on the conspiracy. So if you're just tuning in, we're about to get into conspiracy talk because I've been thinking about this as well. I always, try to think about things from a standpoint of what's the big game here, right? And up until the pandemic and this situation, see, I'm not saying that me and Tyson been talking about this. So we're not necessarily saying that someone created COVID, but if COVID hits, you can use the opportunity. I'm not saying necessarily that someone created, someone plotted for George Floyd to be the guy. But if you see the footage and you can utilize it with liberal media, I can use that as something else to attack a guy with. Because up until a certain point, let's be real, even Black people were sitting around like this motherfucker about to get another 4.
Yep.
Especially when Biden was out there stumbling and bumbling all over everything. There was mad Black people. I'm just keeping it real. There was I listen, and I won't speak for everybody. In my circles, in my life, I had people either going to sit it out because they felt Trump was going to win, or was just admitting, damn, son,
yeah,
I don't see him losing. Pandemic hits, social justice hits. These are things that put him in a position that he has to appeal to his base. And we know what his base is about. So now he's turned back into tone deaf Trump. Also, pandemic and all of this stuff going on stops Trump from being able to do what he's strongest at, which is hold his rallies.
Yep.
People get mad when I speak on knowing the practices of the people that you're trying. It's so stupid if you don't learn the tactics of the enemy. Mm-hmm. It's so stupid. If you just think you're just gonna go in, this ain't a fucking you said some shit on my social media, I'm showing up to your crib, let's throw hands. This ain't that simple, dog. You need to know the tactics of the other side. But once again, if that is true, well, what you need to wake up to is that's not noble if the blue side's gonna use the world to fight its agenda. Mm-hmm. So we got to be careful. Again, I'm not saying that this is what's happening. Just saying, if we're going to go into Wonderland with Alice, fuck it.
Then let's go all the way.
You guys got any thoughts on that, Thorne, Nina? Dun, dun, dun.
I mean, I used to go down the rabbit hole back in the day, so I try to get away from that shit now.
I feel you, bro.
I've gotten myself pretty deep down the rabbit hole before, and I was thinking everything was a conspiracy all the time kind of dude. But I mean, I feel like anything that's national has the potential to have been scripted. Always has the potential. So I mean, it could have been. I never looked at it the way that Ty did, but that's a positive spin on all the fucked up shit 2020's been.
Trying.
So
I'm trying.
I think Mother Nature is playing a role in this shit too, trying to get shit done that needs to be done. But that's about it. Like, I just think it's like things that are like overdue. Pandemic was overdue. Justice was overdue. I just think everything's kind of like coming to terms finally.
Mm-hmm.
Can only go on for so long, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Nina, what do you think about all of this madness we just went down?
I think 2020 is just a great big eye opener for us in many, many ways. As far as conspiracy theories, I stay far away from that. So when I hear conspiracy theories, I just listen to whoever is speaking of it and then be like, all right, can't touch it. So that's just me. I just can't. No, I can't touch. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, no, I can't touch it. I just really can't. But I mean, it's definitely an eye opener. It's we're experiencing so much that we haven't a lot of us haven't experienced at all. You know what I'm saying? As far as the pandemic, like I never experienced the pandemic, so it's definitely an eye opener. As far as like the world just completely shutting down, like what the hell is that all about? Like, who would have ever imagined one day we're sitting here and we're watching, you know, people dropping dead in China and this COVID-19, and then it hits the US and it just shuts us completely fucking down. Like, I mean, do you call it a conspiracy theory or what? Like, what exactly is it? I try to stay away from, because like you guys have these conversations and one door opens another door and then another door and another door, and it's just like you get so trapped in so much. And I just love being a part of this and just listening to what all you guys have to say and your opinions and your thoughts. And you know, you guys are so knowledgeable in so many ways that I just sit back and listen to you guys, and I'm grateful and thankful that I have you guys. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't have a lot of people like you guys around me. So you guys put me in that state of mind, that frame of mind that I don't normally touch on.
Right.
So let me sum up where I'm at. So what happens is the CIA coined the phrase conspiracy theory. It was actually being used in a way to make people doubt that the government could be ever doing anything against people. So it has been screwed up over time, and it has made people shy away from it. And I totally understand that. So I'd like to take the word out of it, right? And if there's one thing that I'm gonna take conspiracy theory all the way out. And again, whether or not the pandemic's created or not, one thing that we know is that opportunists exist and will always take advantage of a situation if they can. So that's why I kind of leave myself to not put myself in the conspiracy bag, but more of the plausibility bag. So, like, example, you know, it's when we speculate, anytime we speculate, we're actually conspiring on a theory, right? So when we speculate on what we think the intent of Roger Goodell's speech is, we're conspiring on a theory of what we think it actually is. So I don't want us to be afraid of it, but I do understand that we have to be cognizant, like you said, when we're opening too many doors. It's okay to like, I'm closing all these fucking doors and the windows. I'm gonna sit down for a minute, like Thorne's doing. But don't be we have critical minds for a reason. We must question everything for a reason. Right. The universe gave us, inquisition and ability to be inquisitive about things for a reason. So that doesn't mean that we're always going to be right. But here's what I tell people. Your inquisition can just not be based on information that you're reading. If you want to take it from conspiracy theory to actual conspiracy, then you must go test out these things yourself. You must be brave enough to say, yo, they keep saying the water's fucked up. Well, how can I actually test the water and see if there's fluoride and all this shit in it? Oh, wait, Amazon got a water kit right here. I could test this shit real quick, and it tell me, and I stick it in my computer, and it tells me all the shit about the water. We got to get to the point where we're not willing to just, parrot information and regurgitate information versus us actually doing some due diligence. Let me give you an example. Me and Tyson have never confirmed how this pandemic started, but what we do know is something's going around, and we personally know people who were affected. One of my friends just lost his mom. The chief lost his mom. A bunch of people lost their family members to this particular pandemic, right? So, irregardless of whether or not it might be able to kill me, I don't fuck with nothing that might be able to kill me. Period. Like, so motherfucker, if you tell me it might be able to, and the most I got to do is wear a mask, cool.
Wash your hands.
Wash my hands,
right?
Cool. Use this, cool. No problem. No fucking problem. It's not that hard. You understand what I'm saying? I'd rather be wrong and being prepared and cautious than be wrong and fucked up in the game or dead.
Side. Yeah.
So we have to always weigh all of our information. You got me putting it on right now. Like, hold on.
I know, right? I was looking at the bottle like
we talking about this shit. We talking about this shit. I got the willies, nigga. I'm like, hold on, nigga. Did I touch anything today? So stay inquisitive. Question everything. Just know when you hit that point where you're going too deep, it's okay to take a break. And when you're getting too deep, stop and prove some of the shit you're already questioning before you carry on. You understand what I'm saying? Like, prove it. Prove it first. You know what I'm saying? Because if you only stick to the questions, that rabbit hole is never gonna stop. You'll be falling and falling and falling, and you'll turn into a fucking nut. You'll be inside the house with the foil hat, and it's over. So definitely. And yo, if you, and again, like, this is all about, supporting each other. I hear a lot of my allies talking about supporting Black businesses and all this other stuff. So if you want to support our podcast, and you learn something new or like what you see or like what you hear, then you can help us continue donating via Cash App. This is our Cash App again. Whatever, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're always out here trying to do what we do. If you like what you see, I want to thank all the people who have been donating the third eye. A lot of people have been donating the third eye lately. I just heard that we got somewhere upwards of, we're close to $1,000 in donations this week, just from people tuning in and also seeing, us out actually in the streets trying to make a difference. So that's important. Also, you can support another Black business. Renee put it up here. Yellow Hat Labs. It's my man Tyson's business as well.
Yeah. And actually, I wanted to mention, Ian said that he liked the shirt. So this is my version of a design that I helped another company do, but this is a Yellow Hat version of it. So yeah, that will be up on the shop at some point, but I just got a sample and I just put it on.
Yeah. And if you want to support another Black business, we out here. You can support IamStillIll.com. Check it out. That's where all the apparel is. The slogan "I am still ill" is actually a humanitarian thing. It's about you waking up every day, no matter who you are, no matter what background you come from, and just remind yourself that you are ill, regardless of what people say about you. How you feel about yourself is paramount. So you can see it here at I'm Still Ill. It's not a game. It's about you and the lion with the crown and all of that shit. It's about you feeling powerful within yourself, and you understanding that. Yeah, exactly. It's you understanding that you got to hunt, for the things that you want. I also would be amiss to not shout out my brother, my ally Thorn. Let me pull up his information here. So today he dropped officially on all platforms. My man Thorn dropped his his project, Poetic It. So you definitely want to go check that out. Let me actually pull this up on the screen so people can see that. Thorn, make sure you drop a link so people can support that 100%. But here goes Thorn's cool details right here. Some pretty, it's a dope project. I listened to it top to bottom. I'm very proud of this young man. He went from trying to figure it out and sort it out to now he's sitting in his own studio. He produces his own music. He engineers his own music. He makes his own beats. He's taking his fate completely into his control. He's got a squeaky ass chair right now that needs some WD-40.
My fault.
So let me get that WD-40.
But you can check out Thorn and you can check out Poetic It on all streaming platforms. You know what I'm saying? He also has his other things got going on right here called Hyperbolic. Check that out. You know what I'm saying? And again, it's just about supporting each other, supporting our allies. And man, it's important, man. It's important that we keep this going. Nina's going to be getting out of here in a second, so I'd be amiss if I didn't tell you about her show as well. Give me 1 second to pull that up. Right following this, she will be. You are doing the show tonight, right, Nina?
I am. I do have to run to the store since we're running a little behind. So
no, so
I
go ahead, do your thing.
No, I'm good. I'll start it a little late. I've been kind of lenient on it. I'm kind of on the shelf with it anyways right now. So yeah,
but you know, she's still doing her thing. You know, what happens is COVID hit. She can't go to the station like she used to. So she's not at Radio Telly Brockton, but again, she took control and put it in her own hands, and she's just still interacting with the people, engaging with the people on my man said sample that chair. That's
I was laughing. Yo, Devin be on it, bro.
Devin's wild, bro. You got me with that one, bro. But back to Nina. Check out Nina on her Facebook page. It's Nina Lore. I'm finally saying it right after knowing her for almost a decade. You know what I'm saying? I've been messing it up forever. I've been low oring her forever.
Forever, even last week. So
yep.
I'm proud of you this week.
So I'll put her Facebook page information on the feed right now. You guys can go check it out. Copy that link. Go check it out. She's going to be on a little bit later tonight.
Yes, and do notice she rocking the Thorn tank top.
Yes.
I know, right? Dope.
Listen, that's what we do. We support each other, man. That's what it's all about. And
I'm actually rocking. This is Jomar. He used to be a photographer. I don't know if he's still doing shit, but this is another local brand right up here too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you see what I'm saying? Like that's what it's all about. It's about, you know, like my man Search said, you know what I mean? Like I like his shirt and I get what it's saying, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not, but I think that we need to go to some of those rappers and athletes and get them to understand how they can invest in entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Leah, for, you know, tuning in and supporting, you know what I'm saying? It's important. It's imperative right now that we have these healthy dialogues. I don't want to create division. I save that energy for an actual racist. And I'm not, let me explain something to people too. Don't waste your energy arguing with people who are hyped up and extra brave online. If they're not willing to meet up, I don't care about what the fuck they talking about because they just trolling. Don't feed the trolls. That's how you deal with them. So you know, and there's gonna be plenty of antagonizers on there thinking that it's cool because they're gonna get views and looks by saying crazy things. This clickbait shit is real. Some people are clickbaiting racism right now just to be noticed. And they're hoping that when it dies down, nobody remembers and all this other shit. I mean, it's gotten to the point where I'm ready to, you know, I'm sorry, ladies, you know what I'm saying? But I'm ready to drop kick Candace Owen because I feel like she's out here. She used to have, and I'm going to be honest, she used to have some palpable conversations, but now, like, she's literally like, as her bullshit grows, her forehead grows. This shit's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
No
so, like,
shit.
You know what I mean? Like her forehead's getting out of hand. You know what I'm saying? Like she's definitely getting.
He said her forehead's getting out of hand.
Nigga, she got that Deep Space Nine Klingon shit going on right now. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? Somebody need to drop her ass off the Klingons and shit. You know what I mean? Like, because she on here talking real reckless. She was talking about how George Floyd's, you know, rap sheet. I'm like, what does that have to do with him getting a knee on his neck for 9 minutes for basically nothing? You know what I'm saying? So. Again, and you got to understand that too. Our people got to understand that we got people that just don't, they're tone deaf to their own people based on how they were raised or what their social circles are. I got people out here in this community that swear to God, because I got white friends and white family, even though I'm a nigga from the projects of Boston, that I'm not, you know, one of the people, but I'm outside in the middle of COVID, you dickheads. So anyway. Don't feed into the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Don't feed. Damn, I fed my son, did dishes, putting him to sleep, all while the show was on. That's what we do, baby. It's the dinner club. We get you ready. So real quick, I'm gonna drop this info real quick. Sorry, guys, give me 1 second to pull this up. So I don't know if the vigil's still going on. It started at 8:15, but I'm still gonna head over. We're gonna place our candle over there. I want to, you know, I would be amiss if you're in the New Bedford area. Make sure that you go check this out. Let me pull it up. Boy, your boy be moving, shaking, and baking on these boards. So yeah, they got a vigil going down. Say their names. 31 minutes for 31. It's a candlelit vigil. They're supposed to be, you know, out there just keeping a silent for 31 minutes is a long time. So I give them super props for that. There's some people going. It's not really organized by anything, you know, like this is the young crew right here, the New Bedford Black Lives Matter rallies. This is the young crew right here that's been doing their thing. And this is a young man who helped get it started, and he teamed up with them. So again, if you're in the area, you want to head over to West Beach under the pavilion. If you're familiar with New Bedford, I'm about to head over there myself. Again, we're a little over right now, but I appreciate everyone tuning in. I love you guys. It's all about peace, love, and harmony out here, man. The best that we can. And if it is war, then gear up with us. Stand with us, because I'm a realist, and although I want peace, you watch my videos and shit, I'm prepared for the other shit. So let's just try to be smart, and let's just try to be vigilant, and let's just try to, you know, show as much empathy as we can. Let's try not to feed the trolls. Let's understand that there's people that want to distract us with stupid arguments and forget the main goal here, which is to eradicate all isms in our society. And just stay focused, man. Thorn, I appreciate you, brother. Nina, I appreciate you so much. Ty, I appreciate you guys, man.
Definitely.
Again, don't forget, man, say their names, man. Keep this shit going, man. This has been another great showing of the Den Show on the Dinner Club podcast. Again, you can follow us at Dinner Club Pod. You see it right there in my name title up there on my screen. And again, man, have a great day. We appreciate you guys. Love you so much. Listen, stay smart out here, man. For real. Stay safe.
Stay safe, y'all.
Peace.
It's been real. Deuces, fellas.
Hey.
They love the music, they love the swag, they love the life, and they kill our ass. They love the drip, they love the lingo, they love the hate, and they gun us down. We love to live, we love to give, we fight for this, and they still get mad. We started late, cost twice the stakes, all the fears we face, and we still get bagged. They love the music, they love the swag, they love the life, and they kill our ass. They love the drip, they